Hello, and welcome to the Lion's Den. I okay. Just want to make sure you all can hear me. Yes, I definitely can see that you all can hear me. What's going on? What's going on? Hello. All right. Yes, welcome in to the Lions Den After Dark. We are here to recap episodes 4 and 5 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, y'all. Ooh, these these some hood girls. They are. They some hood girls. This is crazy, but it's so entertaining. So, of course, before we get started, we have to do our house den rules. Of course, please know that when we're talking about people on the show, we're talking about it from the context of them on a TV show. We do not know these people. And we're only saying things based on what we see on television. Anything or new information I may say is alleged. So do not take me too serious. We're here to have a good, fun time. You also know here at the Lions Den After Dark, got to bring your favorite drink, whether it's water or your favorite cocktail. Let's get it out. Let's get it going because we got a lot to talk about on today. We do. And for those who are maybe at home watching and chilling and you're not drinking or driving, the word of the night is mom talk. That'll probably be the entire season. Mom talk. Depending on how many times I say mom talk, you got to take a shot. You must. We have to. Like we have to because it said so much. I think it'd be fun. All right. So let's get into it. Episode 5. We kick off, which I forgot to mention in the last recap, but we were still at the party. I forgot who hosted it. Was it Demi? I don't know who hosted the party. Y'all, who hosted it? I don't know. But somebody, maybe it was Macy, but I feel like Macy's hosting a lot. But anyway, there was a party, and at the party they had a little sit down where they played the anonymous. They like that question box game. I need production to get a little bit more creative on how to get the stir the pot going because y'all wear that game out. But they started playing that game where someone makes an anonymous confession, and here what we got at the end was someone wrote in the box that Jen is fake. So we left off with the reactions of that. Picking that back up in episode 5, we see that Jen is really upset about it and is essentially like they end the night because they're like, all right, let's just go home. I don't know who wrote that, but let's just go. And it was very interesting. And I think this is a moment where you find out who's really meant for this. And I'm saying being a reality star. Because this should have been Jen's moment. This should have been the moment that Jen set it straight on who she is and not to play with me, even if she didn't know who it was. And I really feel like this was a missed opportunity, and it did make me say, I don't know if this is for Jen. Okay, and we'll go through a little bit more as to also what's going on with her, but I don't know if she got that dog in her. I don't think she got that dog in her. I don't, because she should have went off. And she should have clocked everybody she had an issue with. And Jen is the person that really hates confrontation. I've said this before. She is passive aggressive. And a part of that is because she's just not, she lacks communication skills and is very scared to speak up for herself. But if she was not, this was a perfect moment that would have, I feel, put a stamp on approval on who Jen is, because she should have let them know, women know. She should have been calling them out. She should have been coming for Jesse. Jesse. I don't know if it was Jesse, Demi, or your gremlins, Layla and Michaela. But since you want to talk about lies, let's talk about you and your husband. I mean, she should have read them for Phil, even if you didn't know. And that would have been an iconic moment. And instead, Jen just went and cried. And Boohoo cried. And I was just like, this is disappointing. First of all, why are you crying? But like, this was just very disappointing. Like, this could have been a moment. And it wasn't. But we get that moment. She starts crying. Whitney and Miranda are out there comforting her to feel better. And yeah, so that's how we end the night. We also, in this episode, get where Whitney, we get more of Whitney. She's had her baby. It's a boy. His name is Billy, I believe, which isn't that name after the husband, I'm pretty sure. She's having her baby shower, but the baby's here because they had a surprise on the gender of the baby. So yeah, they are going to host a party, and she invites all the girls. Since the start of this season, Whitney has made an effort to try to get back in the group. Now have the girls been as open with her in her efforts? No. Okay. But she invites them all. And you would think, because it's a child, you're welcoming your kid, that the women would be like, all right, it's about the kids. We don't care. We'll come. No, they decide, Jess and Demi, because they talk about it, they decide that they are not going to go. And in fact, they're going to host their own event at their own house and not go because they don't like the fact that Whitney is trying to act like everything is okay and get back into mom talk. Take a shot. So and then they also talk about Jen and how much they think she's a liar, and she's saying all these things that aren't really true, and how they just don't really want to be a part of it, a part of her, and they don't like that she's lying. So this is definitely the duo of the season, Demi and Jesse. Because if one, they not detaching themselves from each other. If one feels some type of way, they calling on a posse to come ride with them. And this is what the behavior that we're seeing, which is very annoying. But we'll get more into that later. So we move to Whitney's party. She has for Billy. Did the girls come? No. She figured that they would not be coming, but Jen came, Whitney came, and Miranda did come to her event. Demi, Michaela, Layla, and Jesse, of course, did not attend. Which, how did you guys feel about that? Because we know that in Bravo world, when it comes to their children, it's something that they collectively agree we are going to keep our business out of. And if you have something with your kid, we're going to show up, we're going to support, we're not going to speak ill for the most part. So this was very different. How did you guys feel about that? I personally felt like it was petty. Like, this is a baby. Why can I not show my head and just say congratulations? Like, and then I think, why are we, I do kind of feel like they're dragging this on a lot, and especially some more than others. And it's unnecessary and it's petty. It's so petty because it's like, okay, she removed herself out of a freaking group chat. So what? This girl is working and y'all got a show to make. Excuse me. Y'all have a show to make. So what are you doing? Like, and then it's also like the child is innocent. So why can I not just come and show nice support? You had a baby. It is what it is. I just think that was a weird. And then y'all intentionally had your own event too, just to make it even worse. I don't like that. It's very catty and girl like. But what y'all think? I don't know. I don't like it. So in her redemption tour of Whitney trying to get back in the group, she's with Miranda shopping. And she's like, hey, because her and Miranda are now kind of hanging out more because nobody else want to hang out with Whitney. And Miranda's new. And I'm going to be so for real. Like, we didn't need Miranda because she's really not bringing absolutely nothing to this show. Like, nothing. And your cast is already large, but she's bringing absolutely nothing to this show whatsoever. So anyway, but she was like, hey, I want to ask people, do we want to do something very nice for Macy to help celebrate? Because Macy is having a pickleball event. She was asked to host. And so she invited everyone to go, I think it was in Arizona, to come with her and be present at the event that she's hosting. So she wanted to do something very nice for her. And everybody left her on red. So yeah, and then we see where they felt like, oh, she's trying too hard. Like, why is she doing? They didn't want to answer her. So, yeah. They're gonna get me. They're gonna really get me. They're gonna really get me. We fast forward to Taylor's family again, which they are a very interesting bunch here. But we get back to her, and we're pretty much getting an update on her and Dakota's relationship, where it's kind of left in the air, or they're trying to figure out if they're going to be together or not, or if they're just going to focus on raising their child together. And so she's catching up with her mom and her sister about the situation, and she's telling them, yeah, we decided that we're just going to co-parent. That's going to be the priority. But then they asked her, like, are y'all still sleeping together? And she goes, well, yeah, we still are. So they challenge her and they say, Taylor, you do realize that this is very confusing. Like, he has expectations that this is going to be something. And if you're saying that you guys are done and you're over, you still got that door open and you're still showing him that he has a chance and you're interested by sleeping with him, which, yeah. So at first she was just kind of like, I don't appreciate that. But also they were correct though. Like, and they realized that, because they were like, well, what would you do in that situation if your daughter was messing with someone you know isn't good for you, you know that you need a break from? What would you tell her? And, so that's what made her really see what they were saying. And this was the one time I did agree with them, because it's like, girl, hang it up with Dakota. And you got to hang it up completely, because you can say all day long you don't have feelings for him. But the simple fact that you still sleep with him, you got feelings for him. Let's not even play or lie like that. And you know that that man wants you. So don't play with him like that. If it's over and if it's done, let it be over, let it be done. And don't mess with that man's feelings. And don't mess with your feelings, because y'all know y'all are toxic for each other. And she said it best. He brings out the worst in her. Her trigger points, or he said it actually, excuse me, that the things that he does are directly connected to the things that she struggles with. So y'all, you essentially bring out the worst in each other, and it's not a good time for that, because they both got some serious personal growth that they need to do, especially Dakota, because he ain't right, y'all. He not right. Okay. So Taylor does eventually agree, and she says, yes, this is toxic. This is a bad behavior for me. I'm going to end it for real and move forward. So we move on. This is where things get very interesting for me. And I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say here about this situation when it comes to Whitney. But Whitney and Macy have made an effort to fix their relationship. It's still very new, but they still are making steps to communicate. Macy is trying a lot more with her than the other girls, because if we don't remember, back in season 1, Macy had her baby mama event and Whitney did not come because everybody didn't like her, and Macy just felt betrayed, because it's like, at the end of the day, I was your closest friend, one of your closest friends, and you should show up for me regardless, because you could have left, but you knew this was important to me and you made it about only you, when you knew that like, this is something I want my friends to be at, here to support me at. So, and someone else's baby shower, Whitney also came to that, but did not come to her baby mama event. And so she felt betrayed for sure. I think it was Taylor. It had to be Taylor. So, yeah, which I agree, because when it comes to friendships, yeah, like, you should be showing up for your friends, period. I'm like, I don't disagree with that, but that's me. So, Whitney calls Macy because they had just done a TikTok where they were doing a trend that we've all seen on TikTok, but with the words and the caption, it was, when you leave out the group chat and now you want to get back in, again throwing shots at Whitney. And so Whitney called Macy and was like, "Hey, I thought we were good, we're moving forward. Why are you in a TikTok with Michaela throwing shots at me?" And Macy was like, "Oh, I didn't really know that was supposed to be throwing shots at you. I was just doing the trend." And so she was like, "Yeah, okay, sure." Cause I did look at you funny, cause while you were part of that, which, yeah, if we're gonna really work towards resolve, we really gotta do it authentically, like fully, not still be shady, still. No, you gotta fully give her a chance and be fair. But Whitney told her, "I was close to Michaela and I don't know, she's just so upset with me. And I really want to try to talk to her to see if we can get to understanding, because she's not like, she's one, constantly throwing shade at me on TikTok. And I just want to find a place where we can get back together." I'll say this, Whitney, you're so nice. You're so nice. You are nice, because I would not want to have a conversation about being her friend. I would want to have a conversation about her keeping my name out your mouth. And like, it's legit Macy. And remember this, Macy is throwing a lot of shade on Whitney on TikTok. It's not made up. Remember this, pin this, okay? Because remember, was it episode 1 or 2 where Michaela, for Halloween, who were her sisters? Whitney. You don't think that's weird? Okay, remember that. Remember that. Remember that. So they have that conversation. Macy says, okay. And they're going to try to do a setup where they can go and sit down and talk about it. Again, talking about mom talking, what it's supposed to be and how it's just divided. Take a shot. So, of course, like I mentioned earlier, at the Pilates studio, we find out that Jesse and Demi are not going, and their posse is not going as well. They're going to have their own event, and they're venting again about mom talk and about Whitney and how she's delusional, and why does she think she can just come back in and like everything's fine, and the same old, and how they believe in empowering women, and the way that they just like gas themselves up in like self-righteousness about mom talk is wild. Like, it's annoying. It's like, who do y'all really think y'all are? We're not looking at you as empowering. We're looking at you because this is trashy reality TV. Let's just keep it real, okay? So, we move on back to Jen, which Jen is not doing well since the event. She's having a full-on meltdown about what was said about her. And of course, we get another scene where Zach is, upset and angry. Like, why are you around that? and you shouldn't be a part of something so toxic, and it's not what it's claiming to be, and you say that you want to help women but you're around women who are tearing you down. Am I going to say that Zach doesn't have a point? No, because I can understand if it's like after filming and every time you with these girls you coming home crying. I can understand where a partner would be like, okay, especially a man, like, all right, was I can understand that. I can understand that. But I also need Jen to understand, babes, this is reality TV and it is very different. And they're not quite understanding that. Like, this is reality TV. You're going to have to be assertive. And like I was talking about last episode, you're going to have to like disassociate a little bit and understand that this is not reality. Like, it's reality, but it's also for show. So you can't take things so personal. And this is where I'm questioning if Jen is really cut out for this, because it seems like it's overwhelming. And I don't know if some of this is a little bit of avoidant behavior. I'm gonna just say it. I'm not quite sure. But at the end, Jen just kind of ignores Zach here and just says, well, I'm just gonna have a sit down with her and I'm just gonna be very direct and just like at least speak to Jesse, because she has a tighter relationship with Jesse, and be like, what's the problem? So in this weird next scene, and for this alone, I want Jen to go to the house. We get a moment where Jen is in the car with Zach talking about the issue, and we get where Jen is talking a big game, which is, yeah, for a person who, people who don't know how to speak up for themselves do this. Let's just clock the T. Like you do. You talk a big game, you do a lot of behind closed doors, but when it's time to stand, you fumble and crumble. And so she's talking herself up, talking a big game. It's not believable. It's actually very appropriating, because Jen says, I don't know why they're trying me, because I was raised in the hood. And Zach's like, you were from Utah. You were not raised in the hood. I may be from there, but I was raised in the hood. But the last encounter you had, you cried, boo. You ran out like a little girl. What hood are you from? What is a hood? I'm curious. What's the definition? I would like to know. Because I was really like, who do you think you are? And I've been trying to give Jen a benefit of a doubt. But what was that? Like, you do think, and this is where it's like, is there a little bit of avoidant behavior here? Because you do stuff like that because you do like attention. She like attention, they both do. And they like this attention. But then when it's time to put your money where your mouth is, you run away screaming and running and hiding. And I can't respect that. Because what was that? Because then we get into the sit down with Jesse, and Jen is squirming out, almost about to squirm out her whole clothes, because she just can't handle the heat that Jesse is giving her. I can't respect that. Keep your mouth closed. Don't try to sell something you really can't. You really can't actually, don't put your money where your mouth is. She can't do that. So we get the sit down, and Jesse is ready. Jesse is annoyed. Jesse is frustrated, because what Jesse feels like is, listen, you're saying to me that you think what we did with the Chippendales was inappropriate. But here's the thing. You're not clearly communicating your boundaries, and it is all over the place. And so now you have the nerve, to get upset with me, but you were not clear on your boundaries, which, yeah. But most people who are passive aggressive do this. They do. It's just what it is. Like, they do. they're not very direct and they suck at communication. Because what, as we know, Jen told them, yeah, we're going good. Everything's fine. Like, yeah, we probably go to Chippendales ourselves. We're good, guys. So they were like, oh, okay, well, we want to do this bit. You think he would be down for that? And she was like, yeah, I think he'll think it's funny. Yeah, it's going to be so cool. And she's like, okay, they told her, we're not going to tell you parts about it, but just know we want to play. Oh, yeah, go for it. And so Jen's problem was, why weren't you not specific with me that this is what you were going to do? We're arguing semantics here and the lack of miscommunication. Because Jen, if you knew that they had something planned and it was connected to Chippendales, come on, girl. One, you sitting here and you're painting a facade that's not true. And that's the problem. You're painting a facade that's not real. It's not, yes, not what your marriage is. He's not really fully okay with it. It just happened not that long ago. And so it's like, be honest. And there's a way to do it without having them in your business too, right? And then sure, if it was inappropriate and it's a boundary for you in your marriage, then you need to make that clear. And I don't see a problem with Jesse just apologizing, because it's kind of like, at the end of the day, you don't lose anything from it. Like, okay, sorry, like that that wasn't our intention. Sure. It won't happen again, because you don't lose anything from that. Then just arguing back and forth. And that's just what it was. They weren't in the spirit of resolve at all. They did not want to come to an understanding. And that's my problem with this group, is they really want to beef for life. Like and without really understanding that y'all are on a show. Y'all can't be throwing people away like that. Y'all are on a show. So with Jesse, Jen reacts by being like, oh, he rubbed his little on me. And if you're asking to sleep with us, it's no, because revealing that Jesse did in fact have a history of swinging with a former relationship. Yeah, I don't, these girls. What? 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 Too much. It's too much. Like, are you sure y'all are Mormon? Are y'all sure? But anyway, it didn't go well. Jen stormed out because Jen was just shaking out of her little boots. She just couldn't handle the confrontation. But she's supposed to be from the hood, y'all. She's supposed to be from the hood, mind you. And I'm waiting to see where the hood comes out. But okay. So that's not the only confrontation that we got. We got another confrontation though between Whitney and between Michaela. So Macy pretty much kind of like sprung the idea that like, hey, I think you should go and talk to Whitney. She wants to speak to you. And I'll be here, but I just think y'all should hash it out. Michaela is pretty much like, I don't want to be her friend. I want nothing to do with her. And I'm really trying to figure out, what did she do to her to make her be this cut off, but still be obsessed with her at the same time. And Macy does name that like, hey, yeah, she was a little bothered because you're throwing shots at her online. And Macy's like, not everything's about you. I'm not talking about you. If I want to talk about a situation, it's my social media. But why is she even asking you that? So now she had, y'all, Michaela can go. She need to go. And I think, I know for a fact, I have said this every single podcast recap, but this episode and next episode made it so clear. I was like, can she go for the love of God? Because this was the dumbest thing and the most annoying conversation I have seen. I I really don't get it, y'all. I really don't. So they decide to meet Whitney at the restaurant coffee shop, and so Michaela says, "All right, Macy, I'm gonna call you, put you on mute. So when I say sisterhood, you come get me, and I can go." With the silly girl, because she's silly. She's silly. She's real silly. Mutes herself, so Macy can't hear what's going on. So she just saying sisterhood, sisterhood, sisterhood like 10 million times because the goddamn girl done put herself on mute. That's what we working with, guys. That's who we're working with. Silly. Whitney pretty much comes, and I was happy. Like, I was actually rooting for Whitney in this situation because, yeah, I need y'all to be more direct here. I need y'all to stop playing these passive aggressive games. Like, it's annoying. Um, and it stops the drama. It stops my interest because it's like, y'all know what y'all be doing. Y'all really be playing like I don't. So Whitney goes and asks her, like, hey, I really want us to try to get back on the same footing. What can I do to help us get in a better space? And Michaela completely shuts it down. She just wants to be mad with her, and angry with her, and not find a resolve in the situation. Which, again, y'all tell me in the comments, what was they fight about again? I really don't remember. I don't remember, but she just doesn't want to be friends with her. So Whitney was like, okay, because I'm trying to come to you to hash it out, talk about it. You don't want to, but can we at least be cordial? And can you stop and like throwing shots at me online and sending people my way to come after me? And she's like, what are you talking about? Why do you think everything's about you? I'm just posting my TikToks, babes, because every post is about her. You're constantly you're obsessed. Whitney lives rent free in your head. And how do I know? Because your goddamn sisters decided, I'm going to dress up like her for Halloween. Now, it's a whole bunch of people in the world that you could be, and y'all decide to be Whitney. You can't sit here and say that. You can't sit here and say that Whitney making this up. We can't do that. Your sisters dressed up like Whitney for Halloween. That is weird. That is weird behavior. It's weird. You're a weirdo. And I would have said it. I would have said it if I was Whitney. I would have said, you're a weirdo. You know that? Because I'm pretty sure their falling out was not that serious for Michaela to be acting this way. And then for you to constantly want to keep this going and be cruel. Like, you constantly want to have an issue with her. When you grown, you an adult, you got kids, and you're acting like a child, but that prefrontal lobe ain't developed. It's not. It's not. It's not fully developed because it don't make any sense. And I'm sorry, but Whitney should give her all the heat, like all of the heat, because that wouldn't have flied in no other type of reality show at all. Whitney should tell her, keep my name out your mouth, or we gonna be matching energy because I ain't got time for this. Are you a child? She should have read Michaela down so she know what she's dealing with. That don't make sense. That's weird behavior. And it gets weirder over the next episode. I don't understand it at all. Like, what? You're weird. Michaela is weird, and I don't want her on the show because it's like you got all this smoke and you doing all of this, but baby, you're boring. You don't bring anything to the group. You're boring. I forget you're there 90% of the time. What are we doing? At least I need to root for you, and I can't because it just don't make sense. She shouldn't. Like, she just need to be. She's not needed. She's boring. Cause what? That is crazy. Like, are you fighting for a storyline? But if you're gonna do that, then you got to do it right. Like, come on now. This was stupid. It was so stupid. Ugh. Rant over. So we move on to Taylor, where she finally has her conversation with Dakota. They decide, hey, we're not gonna be messing around with each other no more. We just gonna co-parent, so he gonna come on the weekends. I guess that was the only thing that happened with that. Um, so yeah, of course he in his feelings, but it is what it is. Um, we and I did mention that we did have the baby shower and then we had the event at the girl's house. So at the baby shower, which I ain't mad at her for this idea. Whitney decides that, okay, because I don't want a lot of people holding my baby, I'm gonna have bunnies so they can hold the bunnies and not be trying to hold my baby. I'm not mad at her about that. That's actually because you passing your baby like hot potato, old school. We're not doing that. Like, I come from old school parents. We're not doing all of that with a baby. So I'm actually with you. Um in this sit down though with Jen, Miranda, and Taylor, this is where Taylor does anchor and bring up like, well, hey, did you hear about Macy's Sunday Center confessions that someone said that they slept with Demi's husband while she was away? So Jen just, oh my God, what? So it's interesting you're coming to me about calling me a liar, but your whole marriage is a lie. Yeah, Jen should have been had this ammo. Why was Macy holding on to this information? Especially when last season she was, I mean, dropping. And I thought she was going to be the one production moves, but Macy's been asleep this entire season. And I don't know what's going on. Like, wake up, girl, because you should have been gave that information to Jen, or you should have dropped it at the dinner table. I need y'all to wake up. I need y'all to wake up. She just held on to this information that Taylor had to drop it. Why? So, yeah, shout out to Taylor because that's the girl who did it, and that's production's winner, gold mine. She's the queen. Like, she is the one who gets it. Everybody else, I don't know what y'all doing. So at the other side, you have Demi, Jesse, Michaela, and Layla. They're having hibachi night outside, and they're recapping, of course, about Whitney and how she lies, and Michaela's bringing up the situation that happened. Um, so they of course are like, no, why does she think everything's okay? We weren't coming, like, we're not on good terms. Again, I think it's a baby. I don't think y'all doing a little bit too much with that. And then they talk about Jen like a dog. And they're like, I'm ready for her. I'm coming for her. She's coming on this trip. I'm gonna let her know because she's not gonna try. I just think that y'all are going a little bit too hard on Jen in the way of y'all making her out to be this major villain, and she really not. She just sucks at communication. She does. And I think she's actually afraid to have conversations with her husband because he is controlling. But the girl, when somebody is scared and somebody doesn't feel safe, they look for other people to be safe with, or they talk and they overshare and they say things they should already been saying to their spouse. He's saying to you because they feel comfortable with you, but don't feel comfortable with them. That's exactly what she's doing. So I don't know why they. I just think it's too much. Like, y'all mad for what? It's not that big of a deal. It's just not. It's just really not that big of a deal at all. I think they're doing too much. And I don't know, they doing too much. Just mean girls. Okay. Mean girls. Because Layla and Michaela dang sure don't have nothing to do with this. And I'm really confused why they act like they do. Because come to find out, it was Layla who was the one who wrote Jen is fake. Layla, I forgot that you was there. And this party was supposed to be for you. What the like what? And then it wasn't even like Layla said, yeah, it was me. I said it. Layla just sitting there looking. Girl, she gotta go too. Go. She gotta go. What was that? No. Like, they really getting me. They really getting me. For real. Michaela and Layla need to go. They are a waste of our time and space. Cause you ain't got nothing to do with this and you got all this smoke. I had to get my little pen out. Cause like what? You literally have nothing to do with this. It's weird. They are catty. They are catty mean girls. And this gonna get old real fast if I got to watch a couple seasons of this type of behavior for real. Especially with two people who contribute the least but got all this smoke. What? That's crazy to me. So anyway, that was episode 5. We're done with episode 5. We're going to episode 6. Okay. This is where they're gonna start going on their trip to Arizona, Scottsdale. And everyone's getting on the way. Y'all, they acted so green. You could tell they not used to very nice things. Like, excuse me, the way that they this bus on the plane. Oh, this hotel. I'm like, whoa, y'all real new to this money. Real new. I mean, green. They was I was like, Lord have mercy. But we find out that Jen is not coming on the event, going to the event. She's having a really hard time to the point where production decides not to film her because she says she's dealing with depression. I was going to say something. I think I'm saying it wrong, but depression. And the day of, Whitney calls her and is like, tries to get in contact with her because they're supposed to ride together. She's not picking up. So Whitney shows up and, says, hey, what's going on? Which I felt like that was a good thing. Like, that was a good friend moment. Because, yeah, sometimes we got to just, when we making sure our friends are okay, it ain't about keeping it cute. Like, no, I need to make sure you're good. So I'm going to really check on you to make sure you're good. So I did like that. She comes over. Jen is a wreck. Jen is like, I'm not in a good space. Everything's just too much. So I don't think I'm going to go. I'm also pregnant. My hormones are crazy. My feelings are crazy. I'm not going. So we get a pause on Jen. She's getting the help that she needs. I would have loved if she would have went. I would have loved, I would have loved if she was in the space to shut them down. Because Jen has potential. She just, when we already talked about it, she has potential, but potential ain't reality. So we're not getting more of her. And I don't know if it's for the rest of the season, but it's definitely for the rest of the episode 6. So everyone's here in Scottsdale but her. Everyone's asking, where's Jen? They asked her like 3 times. She said she was sick. They asked her again because, again, they're being messy. So she says, yeah, she's sick for real. Like, she's pregnant. So everyone's just like, oh, wow. Well, why would she do that? And was this the time now to really do that? Now, this is where Whitney did name in her confessional that she felt like people were not really sensitive to her. And I agree, but they weren't sensitive to you. And this is where there's a different love, like where we're being messy and being catty and not and being mean girls. This is the line. Because even if I felt like she didn't come because she was being avoidant, the simple fact that you told me she's sick, she's pregnant, just found out she's pregnant, you know her situation. I can extend sympathy and leave it at that. But the fact that these girls have the nerve to, oh, he's a band-aid baby, they think it's gonna fix everything, is a wild thing to say. And I kind of wish Whitney would have clocked them for that, like in their face. Like, be the villain for what's right. Be like, stand up for what's right. Don't be saying it later. No, you should have told them, well, hold on now, guys. Wait a minute. You can have your feelings how you want about her, but she's really genuinely not feeling good. And I don't feel like we should be going there or speculating with her business. I told you she's sick, she's pregnant. Let's just keep her in her prayers. And she should have shut it down, because they were being mean girls. They were absolutely being mean. They don't have empathy, especially around kids. And they have all of these kids, which is crazy. All of these kids. So, and it was pretty serious because Jen was contemplating suicidal thoughts. So, and they didn't know, but it's just, even if I didn't know, where was the empathy? To say she had a Band-Aid baby is crazy. That's crazy. And that girl didn't do nothing to y'all like that for y'all to be saying some wild stuff like that's crazy to say, to be quite honest. It's very crazy. That was rude. That was nasty. Nasty work. And they should have clocked her. They should have clocked them. They should have. They should have. They should have. But anyway, we get another round of the truth box. Find another game, please. Find another game. So, we get a couple questions about Demi on Vanderpump Villa. This is what the show was. I couldn't remember what it was. It was Vanderpump Villa, where she was on. It was filmed. She was on vacation, and Jen felt like she was a little bit inappropriate with one of the castmates, given that she was married, flirtatious, in his face. And so they talk about it, and Demi's like, nothing really happened, and that everything is good with them, because it is finally brought up that, well, somebody said that your husband was sleeping with me while you were away. And so Demi says, well, no, we've only been away from each other for 5 days in our entire marriage. So when would he have time to cheat? Just giving a very political answer. Don't believe you. And so then this is where, like, they full of ish. They just are. They full of it. They full of it. Whitney, so Jen, during the debate argument that they had with Jen, right? Y'all say that it don't bother you. She ain't this, she ain't that. But Jessie made it a point to show evidence that her husband, because she said that, like, oh, your husband rubbed his little on me while he was doing his lap dance. Jessie literally came with a photo of her husband's to show everybody how big it was. And that was a flex. So you were that bothered that you really said, let me take a photo to prove all of y'all wrong about him. Y'all not giving what y'all think y'all gave. Y'all not giving that. Y'all not really, you think y'all eating and y'all really not eating. And that's actually wild, because you gave it time of day. Y'all don't see nothing wrong with that. Like, because Jen don't know. Jen was just talking out her neck, and you really gave it a time of day. Like, what is? I said, my God, on today. My God, on today. So we then also get into a little bit of a conversation about negotiations and contracts. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was like, what is happening here? I have to lift this up because my neck is hurting at the moment. But I was just like, wait, should we be talking about this on television? And why are y'all talking about this? Because I don't think I've ever known for there to be conversations about contracts on the actual show. Shouldn't those things and negotiations be confidential? Why does everybody know about everyone? So anyway, before I get ahead of myself, essentially what happened was people were doing their contracts with their lawyers, and because Demi was a fan favorite, she felt like she had more leverage to negotiate and she wanted more money. And so I think the thing that they had offered was, well, we can give you more money, but we would have to be willing to cut out Jesse. And Jesse, so Demi was like, okay, do what you got to do. And Jesse found out, and when Jesse was like, well, no, I'm not going anywhere. Like, no, I want to be on the show. And so they ended up going back and forth with their lawyers and managers and eventually, Jesse's on the show. So they ended up apparently working it out, and they're fine because they've been like this since the film has started. But it was a simple fact that Demi was so willing to push out Jesse in order to get paid because she felt like she deserved it more because she had become sort of a fan favorite. I'm sorry. Who remembers that? Who said that? Who said that? Because I thought we were all talking about Taylor here. Because Taylor's the only one that should be on reality TV at this point, if we're really being honest here. So who said that? And I know people did like her, but I also want to say this is season 2. You can't leverage some power that you don't have. Like, but I also think it's crazy that production is this sloppy with negotiations, and prove if I'm off, y'all let me know in the comments if that's how this works. But how are we so public with negotiations like this? And why is it one being talked about on the show? I don't think you should be talking about this on the show. And then we hear, and then like you ready to push her out because you had one season of fame. Yeah, you're feeling yourself. And I said this, like, these girls are feeling themselves. Babes, you only have 2 years. Y'all can't be doing all of this. Y'all need to calm it down. Because in these earlier seasons, production should be cutting up the group in order to get the perfect formula, not making y'all feel so secure that you think you have negotiating powers on what talent can stay and go. That's wild. So Demi, who was like, well, I thought you would understand because Jesse got money. Jesse has her hair salon. It seems like Jesse is the most well off in majority of the group. And so she was like, well, I would think you would do that because you got money and I wanted more money. And Jesse was like, regardless if I got money or not, I want to be on the show. So I think you want to push me out. It speaks to your character and who you are. And it's kind of got me, mind you, excuse me, this whole time y'all been like this. Why are we now just hearing about this? And why is it now becoming a riff when this should have been a riff from the beginning? I'm very confused. So now what's the problem? This was weird. Was this out of time? This felt so out of time because y'all been like this the entire season. So why is this now coming up in episode 6? This should have been an episode 1 situation. So were negotiations done mid-season filming or what? That's weird. So, Taylor looking kind of side-eyed. She really want to go more into it, but she like, I'm gonna leave it alone for right now. Because yeah, rightfully so. And she clocked her tea. We'll get into that in a minute. But then before they get to the pickleball event and to the dinner, they're cooking breakfast and and one of the questions, somebody asked Whitney, did she regret not showing up to Macy's event? And Whitney, which it was a little bit like, okay, girl, you can't, you baby, we told you about accountability. Please. But she said, well, no, I don't regret it because if she, did she regret not showing up to her event? And so Whitney says, no, I don't regret it because if I regretted it, then I wouldn't have known what to fix. So Macy was like, what are you talking about? You should want to regret it because you knew that it was important to me. You didn't show up and I wanted you to show up. And so you can say that, sure, because we can fix our relationship, but like you should regret not wanting to be there for me. And Whitney was like, no, I do. But what I'm saying is we wouldn't have been able to fix what our problems were. And Macy was like, it doesn't make sense. And yeah, it didn't make sense. It was a cop out. It was a little bit of a cop out. It was like Whitney, it was, because that logic made no sense. But Whitney did see that Macy was still bothered by it. So she pulls her to the side in the morning and was like, hey, I thought we were good. What's going on? And, Macy is straightforward with her and was like, I take that seriously. I want my friends to show up. We're close. And the simple fact that you didn't show up for me really hurt my feelings. And so to hear you not really take ownership that like, dang, no, I should have showed up and say that directly and own that. I don't like that. And that's not how I am with my friends. And I take, and I agree. Cause I'm okay. I'm okay. No, Macy in that situation, I'd be the same way. Like, you better show up. You better show up. So just own it. And Whitney still technically didn't really own it, but Macy just was like, I'm going to give you another chance, which is what everyone should be doing for the sake of the show. But anyway, so while she's apologizing and talking with her, Whitney says, do you think, like, are we genuinely working towards a resolve? Because I know that Michaela does not like me. And is that having an impact in us rebuilding our friendship? And Macy says, no, because I'm my own person. And I'm going to decide how I want to move forward in this relationship. Whitney says, okay. So while they're talking, the girls at the door listening, eavesdropping on the conversation. Like little girls, schoolgirls. Because you can get a recap later. But they're there listening. And so they sit down. They're like, are y'all good? And she's like, yeah, I'm good. We had a good conversation. And so, of course, this sets off Michaela. Well, because I hear y'all talking about me. Get Michaela off the show immediately. She's not mature enough to be here. Like, I just don't get it. I really don't. So I'm fully feeling Whitney at this point because she's acting like a child, an immature child who wants to have an issue. It's a one-sided beef, one-sided issue. And I really would have loved for Whitney to clock that and say it. But it makes no sense because she's like, Whitney said, girl, what are you talking about? I said, I'm talking about our relationship and we ain't even studying you. And so Whitney's had enough. So Whitney pretty much was like, what do I have to do to make everything okay? Because I've been trying to talk to y'all, make it work, like be on better terms, and you not giving me an opportunity to make it right. And so Michaela's like, well, you don't want to, you're still being avoided. You don't want to talk about it. So Whitney said, well, tell me then. Sorry, I shook the camera. But she said, well, tell me then. I said, ooh, y'all done activated Whitney. I like activated Whitney. I do. Keep that energy, Whitney. Keep it. Keep it. Keep it. Keep it. I was like, yeah, girl. Because you need to let her have it. So Michaela, no, like, don't play with me. That she needs a good don't play with me like she do a read. She needs to Whitney to read her fulfilled. Be the villain against foolishness like that. And I promise you that you'll gain respect. Like, because it's stupid. And it's immature. Like, Whitney, you're an adult. You're acting like a kid for real. So Whitney says, well, tell me, because I'm sitting here. I came to you, wanted to have a sit down. You told me you wanted nothing to do with me. So now, but every time I'm trying to do something to rebuild, it's a problem. You mad. You don't upset. You say I'm doing too much, but I'm trying to make an effort to be cool with everybody. So Demi jumps in, which I felt like it was completely, we were talking in circles in because it really didn't make sense to me. But Demi was just kind of like, well, you hurt all of us, and it's just kind of like you're not going directly to us, you going through people to try to have a conversation, and we just want you to be like, talk to us and really just own what you did. Whitney, since the start of this season, has tried to make amends with everyone, and none of y'all wants nothing to do with her. You aren't making any effort to meet her halfway. Do you want the girl to beg? Clearly, for just leaving a group chat? Y'all doing too much. Y'all childish. Y'all doing way too much. Way too much. This was stupid. This was dumb. And Demi should have kept her mouth shut. Cause it was like, girl, be quiet. What are you talking about? And this was crazy. Demi really sat here because Whitney said, well, do you hate me? She said, no, I don't hate you. She was like, so you would, I think they said hang out or something. Demi was like, yeah, I would. Wait a minute, Demi, but you literally deliberately decided to have a different event instead of celebrating a child, intentionally made an event to not go. But now you're like, oh, we're working on it. You are fake. They are so fake. It's like she can't win for losing. And I wouldn't want, that would irritate me. And production, I think, does have to start looking at that, because we not finna do this now. Like, we got to move this storyline. And Michaela, you just making stuff up because you like being mad at her. And I don't know if it's because you got nothing else going on that you making this imaginary beef with Whitney. But it's getting old, it's getting tired, and quite frankly, it's making me want you off the show even more. So, yeah. Yeah, so we already talked about Jen. She's not coming back for the rest of the episode season. But it seems like he will be still filming a little bit, which is crazy because he don't like this show. But anyway. We do get a moment where we're at the celebrity pickleball and Macy is hosting, and it was cute to see an actual other event happen because, something a little extra for a show. Then we get to the night where we get more drama. And at the dinner, because, in reality TV, things go down at dinner. So Whitney, because of the heat that she got earlier on today, was like, you know what? I'm going to pivot all of this onto a different person because I'm not doing this. And I'm like, I like clocked in Whitney because that's what you do. That's what you do. That's what you do, sweetheart. That's what you do. You're not finna do it. We're not going to keep beating up on me. Let's make this about somebody else. And that was a well played. I got to give her, you ate that, Whitney. You ate that. Because Whitney goes, I was really confused by that Jesse and Demi situation. Like, I know y'all had kind of ended it, but like, what really happened? Baby. Yeah, that's what you do. That is what you do. Get it started. Do it. Come on. This is a show. So she again talks about the feud situation that I talked about earlier. So Taylor, because Taylor was waiting to say something, and Taylor said, okay, I'm gonna say something now because this is actually some crazy BS here. So Taylor steps in and says, do you thought that you deserved more of the campaigns and that you were the star of the show and you deserve the bigger brand deals? And Demi says, well, I was a fan favorite and an asset. And Taylor says, let me stop you right there. You wouldn't have been on this show if it weren't for me. And here's what's crazy about it is Layla then tries to get into it. Baby, the way that Taylor chewed up Layla, I said, yeah, hit her again. Cause you got to tell your posse to go to the house. Your little crew need to go. Cause Taylor, it's nothing you could have said to help your friend. Like, what? And when I tell you Taylor shut her down, Taylor said, I'm not finished speaking. And she said, well, I'm not going to let you come for her. She said, that's fine. And you can say what you need to say when I finish speaking. And all Layla could do was just look because she knew, baby, you don't want that because you're not really built for this, to be honest with you. So Taylor says, listen, I think it's a little bit delusional that you think you're the star because people did like you. And she was like, at the end of the day, I opened up my story. I opened up who I was, almost had to be put in a mental institution because I'm just pouring out my life. And all you could do is sit down and hash out the issues going on at the table. But you ain't really getting into the nitty gritty of what's going on with your lifestyle. So if you want to talk about who's really giving an asset, then you need to be looking at me because I'm the one that brought you here. And I said, ooh, Taylor. Yes, ma'am. Because, yeah. Who do you think you are? And this is season 2. Y'all not. You haven't given the network 10 seasons. You haven't even given them 5. Babes, you gotta chill. Like, are you serious? Who do you think you are? This is crazy. Like, so Taylor, Demi doesn't actually push back as much as I think she did. I think my headphones just died, but Demi actually does say, okay, yeah, no, I was wrong. I shouldn't have did that at the expense of kicking out Jesse. That was wrong. She is my friend. So Demi, so at this point, Jesse is looking kind of crazy because I really don't think Jesse's over it. But I think because these girls are passive aggressive overall, she just kind of like it's resurfacing because she looking like I got more to say, but Taylor saying it, so I'm gonna just kind of ease off. And Demi just says, I don't know. I forgot how the conversation kind of shifts, but then we finally get a vulnerable moment with Demi talking about her fertility issues that she's having. And they're doing holistic interventions to help with her situation. So we get that comes out of it. Everyone's like, okay, well, thank you for sharing. Like, that's good. Yes. And yeah, thank you that you own that you were wrong. And yeah, but people still are looking side eye at Demi because of how ruthless she was willing to be. So post dinner, some of the moms go to the club while Taylor and Demi go back home. Was very interesting about Jesse and Demi. Taylor go home. Jesse is fishing to feel out how if she's still upset about the situation, because the way that she asked Taylor, do you think that they're between there's some competition or jealousy happening in the group dynamic? And I felt like that was very interesting. So this lets you know that Jesse definitely still feels some type of way, but just isn't sure about how to go about it, or being very passive about how to go about it. So I definitely don't think it's over. But the other girls go back. They go to the club, come back home. They want to skinny dip. Demi was going to skinny dip, but then she told her husband, and he called her and was like, "You not finna do that on camera." So she don't do it. Someone else was like, or I think it was Taylor, was like, "Oh, you be coming for people about their husbands telling them what to do, but your husband called and you decide you're not gonna do it." And I was like, well, I see both sides, like I always do, because yeah, if your husband tell you not to skinny dip on TV, you probably not gonna do it. Like, she got a man who's, yeah. But also, like, It's the flip-flopping for me. Because you're judgmental, but like you literally were gonna do it. And now because he told you no, you're ill. Why would you think I'd do that? No, but you was about to do it though. So don't act fake. Don't act like you holier than thou. Just say, no, I'm not gonna do it. It wasn't so hard. I think it's a little weird. So yeah, we're starting to really see who's really the villain of the group, and it's not Whitney. It's not Whitney, guys. It's Jesse or Demi. It is. So that was the episode. It was a lot to go through because there was a lot of spats. I don't know if I can say arguments, but there were a lot of spats going on in these 2 episodes. So yeah. How did y'all feel? Like, you think it's picking up a little bit more? I will say because there's spats, I don't think I can give it a 9. I'll give them a 7. Both episodes. I'll give them a 7. And that's only because of Taylor and Whitney. 7.5. I'll give them that. They're the only ones that are working, clocking in. And I'll say it again for those who maybe didn't hear me in the first couple episodes. Layla and Michaela don't need to come back. And I'm going to say it every episode. So just so you know, I will be repeating this until the season finale when we recap it next week. I am. Because I mean it and I feel it. And they shouldn't. But that is a recap of episodes 5 and 6 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and to my podcast. At the Lions Den Podcast. We're also over on TikTok and Instagram at the Lions Den Podcast. Definitely follow us there and check out the content that we'll be sharing as well. Well, that is all I have for y'all tonight. Thank you guys for watching and catch you next time. Bye.